Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cut. As you have surmised, I am sitting down. We are all getting old. And without further ado, we have a Ferrari today. Right now, right here, we have an F430 from 2009. As you can see, it's a slick top, doesn't have a sunroof, it's not a convertible. It's a very special Ferrari black. The name of the color is up here, and it is one of the most prettiest colors I've ever seen on an F430. I've seen red, I've seen yellow, I've seen blue, but the black somehow just does the trick. This car started off life in 2009, brand new off the showroom floor, spent its 5, 6, 7 years in the UK, and then made its way to Malaysia, where it was forgotten for the past 9 years. 9 years, completely forgotten. You can see by the brakes, they've not been worn in. There is a spider family staying in there, and what reminiscence we have of the brakes, I have no clue. We roughly have about 40% of brake life left. You know, I can look at this logo all day long, and matter of fact, I think all you guys can too. But to know more about it, every single Ferrari emblem is handcrafted, meaning it goes through an immense amount of QC just to make it onto a front bonnet, which is going to see stone chips, rock blemishes, imperfections, bird shit, dog shit, whatever the shit. That's what you call pride. On the rear quarter panel, we have Pininfarina badging because as you can tell, it's been designed by Pininfarina. This goes straight to your intake. This cools down the engine. When you're hitting 250, 260 on the track, you get fresh air that's diverted through that lovely side mirror there with aero fins in between. It directs air along here and straight into the intake.
Wait, what karat here?
Oh, so as you can see, this is some elegant and classy rust which is appearing on the 15-year-old Ferrari, which is not too bad because the doors are lightweight aluminium. And yes, there's rust under there, but not to fear, it's just surface rust, oxidization. The aerodynamics on any Ferrari is always insane. Air comes in here, goes out there, directs to the side of the car, along the wheels, along the side, and gladly makes its way into the rear engine. So at the rear, we have the rear venturi tunnels. If I remember correctly, when you get to about 190 kilometers per hour, the rear starts to hunker down because the air being pushed from the front to the back gets directed up here. And because of this, can you see this thing here? This lip. So if let's say this lip, right, was not like this. Let's say this lip was up here. The car will not be sucked down. We finally come to the power plant. An F136 Ferrari 90-degree V8 with 112 horsepower per litre. Keep in mind, that was 20 years ago because the first model 430 came out in 2004. So for 20 years and 112 horsepower per litre, that is immense, especially from something naturally aspirated compared to nowadays, which is everything's bloody forced inducted, and you don't get proper engineering like what you have here. Proper horsepower, proper torque, and the speed just climbs. It's a Ferrari, it's naturally aspirated. What else does it do? It doesn't have individual throttle bodies like an M, but it doesn't need to because with Ferrari's engineering, nothing is spared. So in front here, as you know, Ferrari always keeps their beautification on check. Red intake manifolds, red plenum, black air boxes, and the exhaust is right here. So the symbol there, do not touch when hot. But being a Ferrari guy, you're gonna touch it when you're hot because you're a man. If let's say one of you connoisseurs at home wanna take apart your Ferrari's oil and have it serviced, this is your oil reservoir. This is because it is dry sump, so you will have the oil tank here. This is, if I'm not mistaken, that is your power steering. So it is copying the same unit from BMW and Mercedes. Same, exactly the same, completely the same, with a small nipple around the side to let it bleed in case it heats up. The air boxes here are completely sealed. So you can see they're not normally sealed, they're actually sealed with proper tightened nuts, and they're not going anywhere. So we have the coils down here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I was not going to say 5, 4. So it's V8, you got 4. Plugs, you will have to check with your Ferrari dealer on what spec plugs they're using. But usually the heat range will be around 7 or 8. And yes, we have some scaffolding here that has been taken from a nearby building in Maranello. They were doing some construction. So Ferrari said, why not we go to your place and take the scaffolding and put it in our car. And exactly what they did. Look at those bolts. The back two line up. You can see the back two line up nice and snug. But the front two, look at the gap. That's why I say they went to a construction area, found this beam, put it at the rear as the rear subframe, and then said, voila! This is what's covering the engine, the inside of the boot, or if you will, the bonnet. Oxidization, which is quite normal. And you know, you have the rear sensor there, which is squeaking. And the latch, which, you know, quite common, it rusts over time like most Ferraris. And yes, this is actually grounding. Look at this grounding, it's completely rusted out. The bolt is rusted. Yes, you can remove it, but why? You're paying very high monies for this car, and why does it rust? Down here, if you can peep here with me, this is your gearbox, your F1 gearbox fluid reservoir. So you have a bleeder pipe here that goes out in case the box gets too hot, but never fear, you have oil cooler for the box, you have an oil cooler for the engine, and there is also an oil cooling system for the EDIF. Radiatore con anticongelante. Radiator with antifreeze. That's what all that mush bash bagash was all about. Yeah, there was a sticker here that was eaten by an angry Italian. With most F430s, the engine rumbles, the engine vibrates, it tells you it's there. It's like the rear lights. Just to inform you, this is normal on F430. The brackets at the back tend to get wonky and oxidized and brittle. Therefore, you have that. For the F430, they spared no expense. The engine, especially connecting rods, pistons, crank, everything was brand new because they wanted to step into the future. Ferrari knew they needed new blood. So the engine that was in the 360 Modena was ran and used, the blueprint of the engine that is, for 50 years. 50 years they used the same concept, and with the 430 they turned the page. We're in the car, let's see how it feels like with all this moisture. The seats hug me immediately. The steering wheel is in the exact right position. Keep in mind, I've not altered anything. The pedal shifts are exactly where they should be. The amount of carbon fiber used in the interior is crazy. You got carbon fiber on the aircon vents, you got carbon fiber on the center console, you got carbon fiber in the assembly here, you got carbon fiber on the doors. Any place that could be lightened, Ferrari did it. The F430 was the first of its kind for many items, many things. One of it being the infamous Manatino switch. This is stability, so that's race, that's stability. You can switch that off, but you're still in race mode. You can go to sport. This is more idyllic for spirited driving on mountain roads. This is when you lose half your brains and you just want to, you know, disappear. And this is if you think you're in Finland, but you're not, you're in Kampung Subang. And then here, we had ding, ding, ding. This this is supposed to go in here like that, you know, so when you drive you can just press it and kill the engine, but no, it's supposed to be here, but it's been relocated down here like a Saab. And you can see here, they never let you forget it, F1, to tell you your F1 gearbox will break down soon. Here we have reverse, and it's pointed to you, it's angled to you, as you can see this shelling here, and it's angled to you. This is auto mode, so the passenger can click this. This is Leng Chai mode. One thing disappointing, the only thing disappointing about this Ferrari, what the f is this? What is this? I'm paying an arm, a leg, a kidney and a spleen. I demand digital. Why is this analog? Does it look like I need this? I get this in my 5-year-old Myvi. Why do I need this? No, in a 5-year-old Myvi you get electric, completely with a display and shit. This one is, look at that. This is the power windows. Look at how flimsy that is. See, these plastics, I would expect them to go bad, but Ferrari plastic, surprising, very surprising. Look at that. It's not breaking at all. And look at the gap there. See the gap? That's tight and it's still moving. And the crisp sound that the pedal shift makes. Oh, that is crispy. So rev counter right in the middle, because when you're racing you don't need to know speed. Speed is perspective and it's not related. Doesn't play any part in speed. Revolutions matter. So when you hit 8500 RPM, it's time to upshift. That is your oil temp. That is your oil press. That's your coolant temp up there. This usually is all covered up by Ferrari because prim and proper is always the way. But I suspect while they were trying to get this car moved and started and running, they had to remove all the panels, and these are all the computers that sit at the back. The pyro fuse is somewhere in here. So the pyro fuse is there in case you get into an accident, the airbags deploy, you can't start the car, you got to replace the pyro fuse. That's in here. Those are all your modules for your gearbox, for your engine, your light control module, fuses, relays, all lie here. Why here? If you notice, this is right dab smack in the middle of the car. Weight distribution, key importante.
Home, no more home to me, whither must I walk?
This Ferrari F430 is actually up for sale. Yes, it's for sale. And I bet you're wondering, why would you buy something that hasn't run in so long, yada yada yada, I need to do this, I need to do that. Full stop. Listen. This car is the predecessor to the 458 Italia, which makes it the direct father to one of the best handling Ferraris ever built. So without this car, the 458 won't be there. So you are literally buying Genesis, you're buying the beginning. The Beatles, for example, they were the start of something. James Brown, the start of something. Metallica, the start of something. This car was the start of something. So it is for sale. You can do it up. You can call Eurospares in UK. They can do it up. They have all the parts. They have a brand new 458 F430 360 engine, complete power plant. They have that brand new. They have second-hand parts. They have everything you need to complete and make this yours. You can buy a running one, or you could buy something like this, less than 100,000 kilometers in mileage, barely driven, just needs a little bit of TLC, and you can make it yours, exactly yours. No one's going to say anything about it. Yes, you can say the 458, you can modify and nothing say about it. But with the 458, it's already been designed perfect. Nothing losing about it. But the 430 can use modern day aerodynamic upgrades. It can use a modern day mapping system. It can use a modern day FI exhaust. It can have Novitec Rosso exhaust system with the map. The brakes, AP, endless. Shall I go on? The tuning capabilities of something like this has no bounds. Do you want to restore this car, this Ferrari, and let it be yours? Because remember, built, not bought. Oh my god. What happened to the ceiling? It's completely disintegrated and it's throwing off oxidized asbestos smell-ish type of stuff.